Hello, welcome to I believe you know this as the Farm News Friday set, which is AKA the back wall in the office. So this week we have a great person on the show. His name is Daniel Sell. You might know him on Instagram or YouTube as Farmer Dan. And Dan and I had a great chat, kind of how he's built a really huge following online, showcasing what he does with row cropping, growing wheat, and Milo. Have you heard of Milo? I've never heard of Milo before. Like the crop. I honestly don't know a person named Milo either. But Milo is something that you might have heard of. Dan will explain it in the episode, so go check it out. The link is below in the description for the episode. But Daniel is a really cool guy. I've just started following him a few months ago. He does a lot of great videos on Instagram that are funny as well as educational. And there's a lot of stuff you hear about in ag and farming where there's not a lot of people from the younger generations going into farming. And I think people like Daniel are more common than you would think. People that aren't older generations, people from Gen Z or millennials like myself that are actually going into farming. And so Daniel is actually a 7th generation farmer in Texas. And how cool is that? Like, that's a lot of pressure to be a 7th generation farmer. I mean, my parents were teachers and I was a teacher, but that's just like 2nd generation stuff. So I think 7th generation to be doing what your family doing is incredible. So that's awesome. So here is a quick little clip of my interview with Daniel talking about kind of how he thinks about it in terms of being a 7th generation farmer. Is there a lot of pressure there? Is he trying to put his own spin on it? So check out this quick clip. All right, so also, we kind of mentioned this a little bit. You're a 7th generation farmer. So is there kind of a lot of pressure there? I mean, how does that feel to kind of be 7th generation carrying it on?
For me, I have, so my family, there's 8 kids. My parents had 8 kids. And for me, I never felt pressured by my dad to be a part of the farm. In fact, I don't think he pressured any of us kids to want to continue it. I think he wanted to say, if you want to do it, then that's fine. If not, we'll let it go. And we've had that conversation before. You know, there's always going to be conflict in a family farm. That's whether it's just between me and dad or between a sibling and me, you know, it's not going to be easy peasy. And so for me, I never felt pressured. I loved doing it. I love sitting on a tractor. I love getting to go check crops. I love the work side of it. I don't love the penciling side of it, having to, you know, make sure everything works right, money wise, but it's something you have to do. But, you know, for us, I mean, we're an average sized farm for this area, and there's a lot of pride that goes along with how many generations have been here. And there is pressure from that, just knowing that, you know, my great grandpa or whatever you want to say is maybe watching me from up above saying, man, I hope he does this right or something like that. But, you know, overall, I just, I feel like it's okay. And I'd hate to fail, but I'd sure hate to kill myself by trying to work so hard not to fail. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah,
and,
yeah.
So I think happy medium.
I like that. So, and also going off of that, like, how much are you trying to have kind of your own spin on it? Like, I know times are always changing, technology is always improving. So how are you kind of both balancing, I don't know, like the family tradition of maybe growing the same crops versus adapting to new technology and new stuff?
You know, Dad has done really well in the past couple of years of adapting with some things. And I'll come into the office every now and then and kind of show him this new thing that I think is really cool and it'd be nice to try. And he'll always say, I'll think about it, which is basically But for me, so there's Dad's corporation for his farm, and then there's my corporation. And Dad and I are partnered on my corporation. And so I always get a say in whatever is done with my ground because it's half mine and half his at that point. That way he can kind of help me, and I'm still financially backed by him in case something does go wrong. And it's a lot easier to rent ground to a 60-something-year-old man versus a 24-year-old man.
Oh, okay.
Lord. So having him with me helps a lot. He's my dad. I trust whatever he says. And so that's kind of how it works. We still have some stuff from generations before. My great grandpa, he would no great grandpa, excuse me. He collected, I don't know how many antique tractors and cars and just anything you could find from the iron side of farming, like 1900s. And so he would keep and restore. And I actually own one of the tractors that he restored, and it's just kind of a cool piece of history for me because I know he worked on it. I know it's got his blood, sweat, and tears on it, and it sits in the barn, and it's just something for me to look at and just feel good about. And so it's different, but it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, kind of like a family heirloom. It sounds like that can
Yeah.
be. I mean, that's really cool. I like that. That's awesome. So, I mean, what are your future plans for your operation? Are you wanting to grow it? Are you wanting to diversify? What are you thinking about the future?
Well, sadly, there's not much room to really diversify for the farm part. We could have cattle, which I think we will look into in the next couple of years, especially with my wife. She loves cattle, and
She loves
so
cows. Okay.
there. But for me, I want to grow the farm. I think, Lord willing, what I'd like to do is at least triple our acreage by the time I'm 50. I don't want to be the biggest, baddest farmer out there, but I want to be able to be sustainable with just farming. My dad, he's farmed and he's also a CPA, and that CPA helps him kind of be able to farm. And although I love that about him, and he's done very well for himself, I don't want to have another job. I want to be able to farm and sit in my office during the winter and kind of figure things out for the next year. And that's what I want to do. And so I just got to continue growing our acreage. I make myself very well known around the area to landlords, and I'm not stabbing anybody in the back. I feel as though that's wrong, but I'm not afraid of a little competition either. And so that's kind of my future plan. Like I said, I think we will have cattle in the future, and I'm not too excited about that. But
why is that?
Married, and so I kind of happy wife, happy life, right?
Oh yeah, happy wife, happy life. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting, and I hope Daniel gets his cows eventually, and his wife gets his cows, because that's something Allie and I want to do. Although we live in not really the suburbs, but we live in like town, so we can't really have cows here. But one day we'll see. So yeah, it's November. I'm on my what feels like 90th pumpkin spice coffee. Allie bought a whole bunch of coffee and they're great. So yeah, check out this episode. Check out Farmer Dan at the link below. Just look up Farmer Dan 97 on Instagram. And also check out his channel here on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook, go check it over on YouTube. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode, and consider subscribing or sharing this video with a friend or family member. I think they might get a thing out of it as well. It's all about showcasing what farmers are doing and learning where our food comes from, like wheat and Milo, which AKA is sorghum. I didn't know that. All right, enjoy the episode. Check it out below. Don't forget, subscribe. Bye.